So, Caitlin Clark is so obviously the best point guard in the WNBA right now. Like, Sabrina Ionescu's pretty damn good. Skylar Diggins, I think Skylar Diggins still has a bit in her, but I don't put her in the Sabrina-Caitlin conversation.
Did you catch Caitlin Clark's first season in the WNBA in her rookie season? She turned one of the worst offenses in the league into an unstoppable force. And get this, she did it in just 1 month. But here's where it gets really interesting. While breaking records left and right, some WNBA analysts are still clinging to the past. They're propping up Chelsea Gray like it's 2021. We're about to break down why this isn't just wrong. It's ignoring the future of basketball right in front of our eyes.
In stating the case that Caitlin Clark is the best point guard in the WNBA, frankly, Caitlin Clark is the best point guard in the history of the WNBA already, doesn't need to be a negative to anyone else.
All right, let's dive into the numbers, because what I'm about to show you is absolutely mind-blowing. Caitlin Clark isn't just good, she's rewriting the record books already. And when we put her side by side with Chelsea Gray, you're going to see why the WNBA media stance is just crazy.
I believe, Gray becomes collateral damage in this conversation because when she's propped up as the point guard, and Chelsea Gray makes some awesome flashy passes. But when people overstate it at the expense of Clark, then people need to bring down Chelsea Gray to bring up Clark, when none of that's necessary.
So get this, Clark has already tied the WNBA record for most career games with 25 points and 10 assists. And we're talking about her rookie season here, folks. This isn't just impressive, it's historic. We're seeing a level of offensive creation that's never been seen before in the league.
You have, look at this statistic. I forget, this was from September. Caitlin Clark had tied the WNBA record for most career games with 25 points and 10 assists. No one is scoring and dishing at the rate Caitlin Clark is. No one is scoring and dishing at the rate Caitlin Clark is in the history of the WNBA.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what about Gray? She's been a standout for years, right? Well, here's where things get really interesting. Gray's game has slowed down significantly since her injury, and she's just not able to keep up with Clark's pace anymore. It's like watching two different sports.
Chelsea Gray is the best point guard in the WNBA. That hasn't changed because she had a down year returning from injury. The disrespect on her name was ridiculous. And look, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but there's just no way to actually defend that in regards to the season Caitlin Clark had. And of course, Clark is going to be brought up in regards to that because
let's talk about shooting, because this is where Clark really shines. Her percentages are off the charts, way higher than Gray's. And remember, Gray is known for her shot making, but Clark is taken to a whole new level. She's pulling up from distances that Gray wouldn't even dream of. It's changing the entire dynamic of the game.
And Natalie, I believe, had said last year that a compromised Chelsea Gray was 10 times better than Caitlin Clark, which causes Clark fans to get on the defense. But I just want to separate, congratulations to Chelsea Gray getting back to form. I don't need to take shots at Chelsea Gray to simply point out obvious things about Caitlin Clark.
But it's not just about scoring. Clark's vision on the court is next level. Her assist numbers are described as off the charts. She's not just putting points on the board. She's creating opportunities for her entire team in ways we've never seen before.
She is already the best point guard in the history of the WNBA from an offensive creation standpoint. And now the Fever have put all this improved personnel around her.
Now, you might be wondering, what about team impact? Well, let me tell you, Clark didn't just join the Fever. She transformed them. We're talking about one of the worst offenses in the league becoming a powerhouse almost overnight. Gray's team has been solid, sure, but what Clark's done is on another level entirely.
And hitting some crazy fadeaway shots in unlimited space because they can't throw double teams is not the same as basically turning one of the worst offenses in the WNBA, the Fever pre-Caitlin Clark, into the best offense in the WNBA.
Here's where it gets really crazy. Clark's range is literally changing the game. She's taking shots from so far out that it's forcing defenses to completely rethink their strategies. Gray is a great player, but she's not stretching the floor like Clark is.
Gray is a hell of a player, a veteran, and deserves to be celebrated. Full stop.
So when we look at all these numbers, the scoring, the assists, the efficiency, The range. It's not just that Clark is better than Gray right now, it's that she's playing a level we've never seen before. In the WNBA, she's not just breaking records, she's shattering.
1 month of playing Caitlin Clark's playstyle, they became the most deadly offensive team in the WNBA. That is why she's the best point guard. And on the defensive end, at this point in time, Caitlin Clark and Chelsea Gray are even. Caitlin Clark is 100 times better than Chelsea Gray on the defensive end, right?
Let's put those numbers aside for a second and talk about what we're seeing on the court with our own eyes, because when you watch these two players like night and day, you got Chelsea Gray, a legend in her own right, but her game, it's changed post-injury. She's slowing things down, backing players down more often. It's like watching a completely different player. Now, don't get me wrong, she's still making tough shots, but that explosive speed, it's just not there anymore.
Chelsea Gray had a tremendous performance in the last Unrivaled game. Chelsea Gray had a significant injury a couple of years back and was coming back from it last year. So I do not want to prop up Caitlin Clark in order to take down Chelsea.
Now watch Caitlin Clark. Can you believe what you're seeing? She's everywhere on the court, making plays at speeds that leave defenders dizzy. It's like she's playing fast forward, while everyone else is stuck in slow mode. And her passing, it's not just elite, it's otherworldly, one commentator said. It's like she's got eyes in the back of her head. I mean, how do you even defend against?
Clark isn't going to need to create everything herself because she's got other capable people now, which is going to make her life easier. It's going to bring her efficiency up. But she's going to be diming everybody up like it's an all-star game every game.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about range Clark's pulling up from the logo. It's nothing the logo Gray can't match. That not even close Clark shooting from distances that a defender's scrambling, wondering if they should guard her from the parking lot. It's changing the entire geometry of the court.
And she can pull from anywhere on the floor. She can get to the hoop herself. It's just a silly, stupid conversation to put anybody else in her class as a point guard. And it also shows, the Fever are going to be frightening and formidable offensively. Perhaps, the most terrifying offense the league has ever seen.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what about defense? Well, Gray used to be solid on that end, no doubt. But now she's struggling to keep up. Clark, on the other hand, she's no lockdown defender yet, but her hustle and anticipation, it's already making a difference. You can see the potential there just waiting to be unlocked.
But the thing is with Chelsea Gray is that she is not the same. Chelsea Gray, post-injury, cannot run. Like in Unrivaled, when she's getting cooked on the defensive end, but when she's able to control...
Let's break down tempo control, because this is key. Gray slowing things down, controlling the pace like a veteran. But Clark, she's pushing the pace, changing the game entirely. It's like she's playing chess, while everyone else is playing checkers. She's not just fast, she's smart with it.
She can't run. Like, I'm sorry. Nobody's questioning Chelsea Gray's ability to play basketball, and if you are... that's not the argument. She can't run. Come on, it's like watching people speak about the WNBA. People are paid to speak about the WNBA. It is like these people have never watched basketball before.
And you know what's crazy? Clark's style isn't just more effective, it's redefining what we expect from a point guard in the WNBA. She's not just playing the game, she's reshaping it every time she steps on the court. It's like we're watching the future of.
See, Gray is slowing the tempo down, backing down. She's got a whole bunch of space to work with, and she's hitting crazy shots. She's hitting crazy, crazy shots. And I gotta give her credit for that. But, what? No! The reason why Caitlin Clark is so good is because what it does to the team. The point guard is supposed to be about how the team...
But here's the thing that really sets Clark apart. Her impact goes beyond her individual brilliance. She's making everyone around her better. The way she controls the game creates opportunities for her teammates. It's like she's conducting an orchestra out there. And the Fever, they're hitting notes they've never hit before.
Of course, Clark gets brought into so many of these conversations when it comes to who's the best point guard. There's not one.
You might be wondering, is this just regular season hype? But think about it, Clark's not just putting up numbers, she's changing how the game is played, she's forcing defenses to rethink their entire strategy. She's making passes that shouldn't be possible, she's shooting from distances that used to be considered ridiculous.
It doesn't have to always devolve into this crap, and maybe I'm feeding into it, because it's nice to see Chelsea Gray get back into form. It's nice to see Chelsea Gray be celebrated. It's nice to see Chelsea Gray get her confidence.
All right, let's talk about something the numbers don't show. We've seen the stats, we've seen the gameplay, but there's more to this story. There's an X factor that's got everyone buzzing, and it's changing the game in ways we've never seen before.
So often, the Caitlin Clark conversation and discourse has been hijacked by something else, by other things, by things that really got nothing to do with basketball. And people try to make it about a rivalry with Angel Reese, try to make it about Caitlin Clark's race, try to make it about paying respect to those who came before because Clark is getting an outsized share of the attention.
You might be thinking, yeah, but Chelsea Gray's got championships. Fairpoint Gray's leadership is undeniable. She's been there, done that, and her experience matters. But here's where it gets really interesting, Caitlin Clark's impact. It goes way beyond the court.
Like if you just, like, let's say there's, snow outside on the ground. You go and shovel the snow, the grass is underneath. And the grass is that all of this grew from what Caitlin Clark does on the court. And how just transcendent, exemplary a basketball player she is. And it's been a long time since she played basketball. So out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
Can you believe what happened with ticket sales since Clark joined the league? It's not just a little bump. We're talking a massive surge. The Indiana Fever saw a huge jump in attendance and merchandise sales after Clark's debut. This isn't just star power. It's a full-on phenomenon. But it's not just about selling tickets and jerseys. Clark's bringing new fans to the game in droves, people who never watched women's basketball before tuning in, just to see what all the fuss is about, and you know what they're sticking around.
But so many of these conversations looked so silly when held up to any sort of scrutiny because of her production. Because what anybody with eyes.
And let's talk about Pressure Gray's clutch, no doubt. But Clark, she thrives under the spotlight. College game, pro games, doesn't matter. Clark shows up. When it counts most, she's not just playing the game. She's putting on a show every single time she steps on the court.
The number one factor in her popularity is her ability and how entertaining she is to watch. That's why fans of all races love her. That's why she's become internationally popular. That's why the record books have her name at the top of college and pro.
Here's where it gets really wild. Remember when people said women's basketball wasn't exciting? Well, guess what? Clark just flipped that script entirely. Her style of play is so dynamic, so entertaining that she's become an international sensation. We're not just talking about basketball fans anymore. We're talking about people who never care about sports suddenly tuning in to watch Clark work her magic.
If a player is free, Chelsea Gray is as good as Caitlin Clark to find a free player. The difference is Caitlin Clark creates the space. Chelsea Gray finds players that are open. Caitlin Clark creates the space. Caitlin Clark is the reason why. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a player gets open. Chelsea Gray finds the open player. That's basically the difference between their passing.
You've seen the stats, you've seen the game-changing plays, but there's something else going on here, something that's got the whole league buzzing. What if I told you Caitlin Clark's impact goes way beyond what happens on the court?
This is going to be history. It's like what I told her. That's pretty epic that we get to watch her, because not a lot of games here in Dallas with somebody that big of a.
Clark's not just a great player. She's inspiring a whole new generation. Young girls are picking up basketballs, dreaming of being the next Caitlin Clark. She's setting a new standard, showing what's possible in women's basketball. Her long-range shooting and court vision. That's the future of the game right there.
I'm sorry, Chelsea Gray can definitely hit players with the 360 no-scope better than anyone else. But if you gave Caitlin Clark Aja Wilson, she would average 14 assists a game just to Aja Wilson. Just because she can do some fancy passes. And was good,
Let's talk about adaptability. Gray's game is that she knows what works for her. But Clark, she's evolving game by game. She's learning. She's growing. She's getting better every time she steps on the court. That's scary for the rest of the league.
The best 2 point guards in the WNBA are Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu. Hey, it's not close. It is genuinely, it's not close. The two of these are a level above. They are a genuine level above the rest of the players.
All right, let's wrap this up because the evidence is crystal clear. Caitlin Clark isn't just the best point guard in the WNBA. She's revolutionizing the entire game. And it's not just a saying. Even Coach K, the legendary Mick Roski, is singing her praises. He called her a magical passer with an incredible feel for the game.
And Stuart, she asked about Caitlin Clark. She wants to know how you would build a team around her and what you think her career will look like.
Yeah, well, she's terrific. I have a Sirius XM show that I had for 20 years. And when she was a senior at Iowa, I had her on my show. And it's on radio, a podcast. It's a Sirius XM show, but it goes all over. And but we do it by Zoom, so you get a better conversation. She was terrific, and it'd be easy to build someone because she's very the best thing she does is pass. She's a magical passer, and she has a great feel for the game. So, I mean, I would have, what her coach did, I would have done exactly what she did. Make sure she handles the ball a lot, and she'll make everybody better. And what I was amazed with at how she's handled all the defenses, and then when she got into the WNBA, some of the negativity that was out there, or jealousies. And I think she's just been remarkable. Just she's a really good basketball player.